I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 6th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dudley Byler, lead us, please. We will be moving the department head report meeting to the end because Mr. Kosher is on a time frame, and we want to make sure we all go through voted items at the beginning.
Sorry, folks.
Hey, you're working.
That's right.
Approval of minutes, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Public comment, is there anybody in the public that would like to speak? On social media that would like to share their comments? Nobody? Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
We have 1125 payroll in the amount of $472,529.67.
I move we approve the payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Civil city claims in the amount of $566,435.69.
I move we approve the civil city claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Water claims in the amount of $459,499.09.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
And then we have sewage claims in the amount of $418,727.08.
I move we approve the sewage claims.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Parthune. All right, we'll move to new business, traffic ticket appeal. Wesley Miller, please come forward.
Maybe he's not here.
Mr. Miller works during the day and can't come. His appeal is based on the fact that he lives above downtown Delights, and normally with his residential pass, he's able to park in front of that area, and then he can load his children to take them to school. And he can't do that right now because of the protective fencing around the collapsed building. So to him, it's a safety issue. He won't park there. He's parking on a side where he got a ticket. So that's his appeal.
So he is normally parking on Lincoln Way, but due to the Lowe's building,
He said he's moved his car in time not to get the tickets before, but this time he just, it was on the wrong side, or I'm not exactly sure.
This is 1 to 6 a.m.?
Yes.
Yes.
1 to 6 a.m.
I don't think the residential pass
No, that's what
exempts
he
you
said.
from
He
that.
knows it doesn't apply to that. He just parked on the wrong side. Normally, he parks in the front in the 2-hour parking on Lincoln Way.
so this was done November 28th.
I want to say last Wednesday. But that was last Wednesday.
Whatever the board wants to do, but I think it's most important this time of year. We've already had one heavy snow, and that's why the 1 to 6 is especially important this time of year.
Those parking spots open now?
To not, you mean to move off Lincoln
That's
Way?
on those certain nights, yes. And the state does come in there with their plows in the middle of the night, and they will plow up to the curb when we get snows.
And did he
was
say,
parked- No, he was parked on Monroe in the 1
Right.
to 6.
And that would have been certain nights too.
Yeah.
It switches each
Yeah,
night.
that's-
Residential pass allows him to park in the 2-hour parking on Lincoln
Right.
Way. But he couldn't park in the 2-hour parking because of the fencing. And he had to take his children to school.
So we parked on the Monroe by the side, which was the wrong side for that particular
Exactly.
evening. Okay.
I would make a motion that we let it pass this time and make sure that he understands that it won't be allowed again.
Because of,
Because of
Because
snow
of the
plowing will be
building.
coming more, because of the building issue and because safety issues and whatnot, and I understand, but just so that he understands that this is a one-time thing and that he can't, it's not gonna be perpetual because of the safety issue. He's gonna have to work that out and remember what side he's going to be on.
do I have a
Correct.
second?
Second. Yeah,
So
'cause
I've-
I was kind of thinking along the same, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please, go ahead.
Discussion, yeah.
Your dad's a creative
I was kind of thinking along the same lines, kind of a very unique situation, but to Chief Breton's point, like, I don't think, I would not expect to be approving these kinds of exceptions.
Well, they are back to the, it's open now. I mean,
Okay.
they're back behind the sidewalk now.
This is borderline, but I
Probably
would,
during that construction time or destruction time.
Yeah.
this is border, I would say that it's borderline approving this, but I'll support it as a one-time. Can we send them a formal letter
Yeah,
just stating that approved, but from now on? Is that fair?
Yeah, and I think,
Yes.
I did take note, Annette, because I think in the documents through email, like, you did comment that he's had some tickets before,
That he's
but he's
paid.
paid them without,
that's what he said. He said, I don't dispute when I make a mistake. He said, but to me, this was a safety issue, and I'm not gonna park where I put my kids at risk, is how he put it.
so I think, yeah, one time, I mean, I'm okay with that, given the very special circumstances.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Chief Snyder, you all right with that, too?
Fine with that, yes.
Chief Breton is, I understand Chief Breton's point, so. All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Chief Breton,
You have a letter before you of Corporal Brian Lenig. I hate to bring this one up. This was difficult for him, but he has an opportunity to buy into his father-in-law's business. Is pretty disillusioned with police work across the country and can't pass up this opportunity. So I asked the board to accept his resignation. Along with that, I'll have another promotion to corporal, because he is currently a corporal, and then permission to hire.
do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? And at this point, we're going to let him keep the K-9.
Well, yeah, I guess I should have brought that up too. He is a canine handler. His dog is 6 years old. It would cost us $6,000 to $7,000 to have another trainer trained with the dog. Brian says he's good either way, but he would really love to keep him. He's a big part of his life. To show you what kind of person Brian is also, he said, I wanted to get this done before the end of the year. I didn't want the city to have to pay me for vacation, or, and wait till the first of the year.
He's doing all the right things.
He is. This is an opportunity that he's taken over $1 million business, that, buying into it, that he just can't pass up.
Do I have a motion to approve the resignation and allow Officer Lenig to keep the K-9?
We'll amend that motion.
Okay, we'll amend that motion.
Second the motion,
To
or
do that.
second amendment.
Further discussion?
Are we going to, though, then get a new K-9 and train the new corporal with a K-9?
It'd be opened up to any officer, and we
Any
do have
officer.
officers that are interested. We don't have the funds right now. We're, currently, we have a young aggressive officer that's actually going out and soliciting for dogs. We have about 9,000 of the 15,000 it takes to buy the dog and for the training.
Kudos to him for doing that.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0, and thank you to Officer Lenig and his service. He was an excellent officer. With that, we'll move to Chief Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. I know the agenda says resignation. These are actually 3 retirement letters that I've submitted for 3 of our most senior firefighters, actually our 3 most senior firefighters. Have a retirement letter from Wayne Seymour, from Eugene Smith, and from Steve Luscombe. Combined total, they have over 105 years of service to the city. And they have entered the drop program, and that drop date is becoming mature on January 6th. So their last day with the city will be January 6th, and their first day of retirement will be January 7th. But I would ask that you accept their letters of retirement and authorize the Merit Commission to fill the department positions as well as their promotional ranks.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
This is gonna put you down 4.
We're down 4 then, yes.
So in terms of, kind of interest levels from folks in the community, what does that look like at this point? I know we've talked a lot, certainly about the police department, from the fire department's perspective.
We're working off of our current hiring list. We've made it through the first couple, and those have not made it through the process for the open position we have right now. That list only has, I believe, 18 people on it. This'll put us through the first half of it probably by the time we get these first 4 positions filled.
What's the timeline look like from once you've select a candidate to when that individual is ready to roll?
We're running the background checks on them right now. If we are lucky, we may have these positions filled by March or April. That's if
That's
we're
being
lucky.
optimistic,
Yeah, that's
isn't
being
it?
optimistic right now.
And boy, we're fortunate to have these 3 officers when you talk about over 100 years of service. Thank you, but we need to wish them well in their retirement because they
Absolutely.
definitely served our community well.
They will be missed, most definitely.
Yeah.
So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Please pass on our support and
Thank you,
thanks.
I will.
Laporte Fire Station Building Corp.
Thought the attorney might be here to discuss this one, but I'll give you a background of this. NIPSCO has asked for an easement at the new fire station on 710 Daytona Street. There were 2 actual pieces of property that the fire station was constructed on. One that the city previously owned, another one that we purchased during construction, or just prior to construction. That actually was purchased through the Fire Station Building Corporation. That piece is the one that NIPSCO is looking to get an easement through. Very straightforward. They just need the Board of Public Works to approve that easement. Does not affect our operations whatsoever at the fire station. And they have also indicated they will give a payment to one of the fire department's reverting funds of $1,000 just on the legality part of it.
And Nick Minnick, I'm sure you
It's a,
support.
yeah, overhead line on a corner. It basically, they have 2 poles. The line cuts the corner of the property. It's a very, very small piece of that property. Really shouldn't affect anything, and grateful that NIPSCO's doing it right and getting the easement, and also willing to pay a little bit to the fire department, which is nice.
And knowing Chief Snyder, I'm sure he meant $2,000, so,
Not 10?
yeah. Hey, I'll settle at this point. All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion?
One, I think, was Mr. Otis emailed, is this the item that he emailed on, that he had looked over this?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, so really he
Could
did,
be.
okay.
I might have missed that one. But where does the $1,000 go to? Not the Fire Station Building
No,
Corporation,
it
but a
will go
reverting?
into the, one of our non-reverting accounts, which can be used for equipment or training or things like that.
Okay, great.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Chief Snyder.
Thank you.
Mark Schreiber, addendum to agreement, NIBC.
Yeah, so what you have is a pretty straightforward addendum to our contract that we signed with Paragon last year for the NIBC LaPorte Invitational. We were very fortunate in that Paragon contracted with the Indianapolis Cathedral and Chicago Simeon to play a boys' basketball game that was going to be televised. They, again, good fortune for us, decided rather than arrange for TV and everything to be in one of their gyms, why not just bring them to LaPorte where they've already got TV set up for the weekend? So we have a bonus game this year, and it really should be pretty great because at the time, there's a good chance both teams will be ranked number one in their respective states. So it's a great win for us, but as you can see by the addendum, we're not responsible for any of the costs associated with the game, and they will pay for the referees, the scorekeeper, the PA, everything for that particular game.
And it will be on, that's the game
we-
that'll be on ESPN2.
Hasn't been announced yet, but yeah, that game will be on ESPN too.
I guess it has been now.
Besides the agreement, it's on
I
there.
understand, yeah.
And Cathedral has one of the top players in the nation, correct? If not,
Yeah, Booker is one of the top players in the nation, and Simeon is a fantastic team as well. So really pretty historic when you get a team from Illinois and a team from Indiana. Like I said, the chances are that they might both be number one at the time. So a huge game. That's on the Friday at 4 o'clock, and that just makes what's already an incredible event just that much more special. So we're really excited for it, excited for the added exposure, but it's just going to be a great basketball game more than anything. And again, like I said, because that was a separately contracted thing outside of the NIBC, they will cover all the costs associated for Cathedral and Simeon to play.
so if you didn't buy your tickets for the other games, you better buy them now because that game would just
I
be a
would say
perfect
definitely
ad.
if you want to see those games on Friday, I would get your ticket very soon because we expect the Cathedral and Simeon schools to travel, where opposed a lot of these teams, obviously being located in every corner of the country, they don't have big traveling parties. But I have a feeling Cathedral being about a 3-hour drive and Simeon coming down hour and a half, they should bring pretty good fan bases. So, and again, those tickets are for all day, so you want to get your full session ticket.
Do I have a motion to approve the amended agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion?
Or just commenting that ESPN, of course, retains the rights if unforeseen circumstances arise to change, the network, so. May not be on ESPN2, but let's hope, right? That would be pretty cool.
That is the plan as of right now, though, yes.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Mark. Jerry Jackson, Monroe Manor, pay.
This is pay request number 12, pretty much the last of it except for retainage and a few cleanup items, quantities and such. We're at 97% of the job. The amount of the pay request is $181,151.75. It includes the major change orders in the job. The park let us, thanks to Mark and the park, let us use Alice's parking lot as a staging area, and it was in bad shape, and of course it was really in bad shape when we were done, so we paved that. It included the work on 3rd Street, some tree work, and an additional water valve that was needed. We're still gonna be on budget or very, very, very close to budget for the job, so it's a nice way to finish up. So I'd recommend approval of the pay request number 12 to HRP in the amount of $181,151.75.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second discussion. You've been pleased with all their work.
Yeah, HRP's been good. Yeah.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Jerry. Craig Phillips.
All right, the first item I have is a request for an acceptance of a proposal for the 18th Street Greenway infill project. We received this bid at our first November meeting, and we've had a chance to review this, discuss this internally, and we are recommending that the board consider this favorably, accept the bid, subject to a detailed development agreement. So that detailed development agreement would come back to the board for approval as well. And that would be where all the specifics with regard to the development would be laid out, and in terms of what the city's responsible for, what the developer's responsible, et cetera. It's not necessary for us to approve all of that at this time. Also want to introduce Adam Steiner, who's here from Steiner Homes, on behalf of the company, to answer any questions you have, if there are any. And I'm also happy to answer any questions you have. Their offer is $171,700 for the property, which is above the minimum bid. They're proposing to build 11 paired homes for a total of 22 individual units. Anticipated market value in the mid-300s to mid-400s. They plan to make a deposit of $10,000 upon acceptance of the agreement. They're asking for a 180-day due diligence period, and then closing after that due diligence period. Once that's over, 30 days from that time to close on the property. And we would negotiate the terms of that development agreement during that time as well. So happy to answer any questions that you have about this request. Again, just requesting that the board accept the bid and allow us to enter into negotiations for a development agreement this time.
Craig, when is the last time like a regional builder has come to LaPorte and built one, besides one-off homes, but an actual
We believe it's been since the 90s. That the last time.
neighborhood almost?
I'm sorry?
A neighborhood almost?
Yeah, it's been at least since the 90s that that's happened. So it's been quite some time.
Adam, if you don't mind coming forward, share a little bit about yourself and Steiner. We're excited to have you here in LaPorte.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I've been designing homes here in Northwest Indiana for 20 years. Steiner Homes has been around in the area much longer than that. We're really excited about this project. It's something that we really want to take part in. We feel like the design and style really lends itself to the character already here in LaPorte. And so we want to complement that, and we don't want to cram as many units in as possible. We don't want to put, low-cost fixtures and finishes. I can speak for myself and on behalf of my dad, the owner of the company, that, he really wants to take pride in every single thing he builds. So that the homes will have character, would be nice, but also be affordable for, average Americans to be able to buy these.
And you guys have a long track record of building homes not only in LaPorte, but also in Porter County and Lake County as well.
Yes, correct.
Many custom homes that have been built in all those locations.
And volume of homes, so I don't know how many you have now that you're working on, but it's quite a few.
Correct. It fluctuates year to year, I think around 40 to 50 units a year.
That's fantastic.
It absolutely is. What's the time frame for if this all flows through and goes smoothly and we close in June or July-ish, what's the time frame for you guys to start building and have completed homes for sale?
We would like to start developing as soon as possible. We don't want to wait on the parcel at all. We feel like there's a need for housing in Northwest Indiana, so as far as specific timelines of when an actual home can be sold, it's tough to say at this point with the due diligence period and everything, but there's no intention on delaying anything.
So we could see construction yet this summer?
Potentially, yeah.
Would your plan be to sequentially build or kind of build all 12 units sort of at once?
That's a great question.
Love
I would say sales would probably dictate a lot of that. We don't want to get too far out and have a bunch of empty units that are sitting there for long periods of time. But we imagine we'll move relatively quickly, so, yeah.
You have a strong marketing campaign that you'll be doing ahead of schedule.
Yes. So my father is a very big believer in marketing. I'm sure you've seen the billboards on 80, 94. Those will be pointing people here. From time to time, no guarantees on any specific marketing plan, but I know he will invest to get eyes on this project.
How soon could potential, clients, homeowners, start taking a look at what the options are and making decisions to potentially buy?
Yeah, so as we're doing that due diligence period, we're also fine-tuning the details of the site. So we can get really specific on what floor plans we want to build. I included a couple in the packet. These are preliminary, but my guess is we'll be pretty close to these on the layout. As far as features and finishes, Steiner Homes has a great set of standard features that, are really nice finishes. It's usually solid hardwood, might be high-quality LVP, tile, trim everywhere, these are things that we could be releasing as we're doing the due diligence period.
One of the things you said, which certainly rings true in the design, or the mock-ups we have, but not cramming homes all together. Like, the way this is laid out in terms of the diagram and I mean, it really is, they look very nice, and I agree. I think they really fit very well with kind of the aesthetic in the area, in the community, which we don't have that many examples in this area where it's not been done well, but I appreciate the fact that you're making sure that it does kind of match what we have here already. So thank you.
Further questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Welcome to LaPorte, Adam. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Open bids for public offering of 910 State Street.
Yep, so the second item we have is the acceptance and opening of bids for the public offering for 910 State Street, which is the former fire station property. I believe Clerk Treasurer Parthun has proposal received, and we have proof of publication in the Herald Dispatch for this public offering as well.
We have one bid.
And I'd like to say there's a lot of work that needs to be done to the fire station, that basically the city, with the elevator, Craig, what else? HVAC,
Plumbing, some plumbing work, finishes, things like that that need to be done. It's a substantial amount of work, so we appreciate the bid that's being submitted for this. So we received a bid from Susan and Dudley Byler. Looking for they've submitted a bid in the amount of $200,500, which is slightly above the minimum bid price. And looks like they've submitted the Form 95 non-collusion affidavit, the bid form, and the required attachments for the bid as well. So would request that the board allow us to review this proposal and come back at a future board meeting, most likely the next board meeting, to hopefully accept the bid. So.
can you share the concept at this point and the ideas?
Sure. So it says the concept is to redevelop the LaPorte Firehouse building into a modern office and entertainment venue, with the ground floor focused on hospitality, second floor focused on office, and then a use of the parking lot for basically overflow for work and play, what they're calling work and play activities. So kind of in conjunction with events that would take place in the building. Looks like it's a pretty open concept, flexible space, like a modern co-working type space on the second floor. And then the proposal shows kind of a very flexible space with a lot of different options for that co-working space.
So the motion would be to approve review
Yep.
between your department and legal, that you'll then bring back for the
Correct.
second meeting in December.
Correct.
And maybe we would be able to see that proposal
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
Whether, oh, you got more than one copy, great.
Yeah, if you could
I was
share
just gonna
those
say
here.
email it, but yeah,
I
if
can
we were
pass.
able to look at those, that would be wonderful.
I can pass those to you if you'd like to look at them.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So, to approve the review of the bid.
Through planning, engineering, and legal.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion, I would tell you, we have an excellent history with the Byler family. For those that don't know, the building at the downtown Delights and the upstairs housing has been a great addition. And if, we've got actually a framed picture of what the before and after looks like. And so they've been a great partner.
For Downtown Delights, you mean?
Yes, for that building before and after, and what the Byler family has done with that. So, further discussion?
Excited for something new to come to LaPorte and, you know, give us the opportunity to host different ideas and entrepreneurs.
I love the rejuvenating the current space, right?
And I think we're overdue for a co-working space in downtown LaPorte. It's a concept that's been successfully employed in a variety of communities of our size, and it's nice to see that option to be able to come to LaPorte.
And the more we become a walkable downtown, when we remove the truck traffic off Lincoln Way and provide options, this is going to be exactly what our community wants and needs, and so thank you. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Congratulations, too, to both of you.
Craig, I'll scan that stuff to you.
This is really cool.
Jeff Batchelor, I can see you.
Courtney has bids for 1108 Clay Street that we're going to open. We need to get that done so we can take and encumber the money if I can't get it done this year. So that's why we're doing it today.
Two quotes.
Good thinking.
And this is the house, just to confirm, that had the fire
Yeah, this is the
across
house.
from Lincoln School.
Right, this is the house that had the fire, and they're looking to donate it to the city.
And it's an eyesore right now in our community. So if we can demolition this house, it could be open for someone to build
Right,
on this property.
Quotes were sent to how many contractors?
5.
5 contractors. Received 2 responses. First response is from Jay Schaffner, General Contractors, and it is in the amount of $23,480. And it does appear to be complete. Second quote is from Pavey Excavating. Also appears to be a complete quote package in the amount of $23,270.
Very close.
Yeah, right there. It just shows that they're being honest.
How does that compare to funds available?
Perfect. So, but it's also, we've worked out an agreement since they're donating or trying to donate it to the city, rather than us having just to pay the whole amount. Since they're donating, rather than just dumping it on the city, they're gonna pay half. So that
The
way.
current owner is gonna pay for half of the demolition?
Yes.
Are there any liens or encumbrances?
No, we just ran
It's
it.
free and
Free and
clear.
and clear?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Do I have a-
Right,
do I have a motion to approve?
so move.
I have a motion and a second discussion. The motion would be to have legal
For
and engineering.
Review
If
the bids.
for encumbrances, you probably need it before the next Board of Works meeting.
Yeah, we will.
So it would need
You'll need-
approval pending that, so that it can be executed before the next meeting.
Before the 20th, December 20th? Because the funds are encumbered?
Our encumbrance resolution has to happen at council on December 19th.
I see. Okay.
So then we'll amend the motion to,
Approve or give permission to engineering and legal to approve and choose the appropriate bid based on their experience and recommendations.
I mean, you can, the pavy bid is the low bid, and they both appear complete, so you could approve the pavy bid. And then if we run into any situations, we can, come back to you and let you know.
are you comfortable amending
I'm
to
comfortable doing that. I just don't know where I'm at anymore with this motion.
sort of approve, so the amended motion would be to approve
Approve a low
paving
bid,
to
maybe.
To
demolition this
demo
property.
upon review.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and again, this is an eyesore, it's right across from Lincoln School. We've had issues in that area, and if we can knock this down, so the opportunity could be to still demolition this building by the end of the year, weather permitting.
Correct. If it possible. It depends how busy they are, and
If Mr. Pavy's listening, which I'm sure he is,
Holiday schedules.
very busy, yeah. and all day and that.
Just so you're aware, that fire occurred right now a year ago. So that building's
wow.
been sitting there for a year in this condition.
Is there a, well, I guess that's because of the owners. That's allowed though by code for it to remain that way for
the
that?
insurance.
Just has to go through the
Because
process.
insurance,
And
I
unfortunately, they were in the process of trying to remodel and renovate this building, but the fire pushed it to a point where that was not feasible anymore.
I see.
And this were wiring from the previous owner.
Right, yes.
Again, the lack of a standard in LaPorte, previous, the new that we're doing, has now, this is an example why we have those standards, because what was happening at that house before we set the new standards, homemade wiring caused a fire and potentially put people, again, in danger. So we're not tolerating that. That's why we have the code enforcement violations that we do. So it's worth saving one life, it's worth doing. So let's get this on the ground. We have builders, people that we can work with to produce even affordable housing in that area and make something positive out of it.
Especially because it costs more money in the long run. Try to shortcut
Absolutely.
things, processes. But thankfully, they're doing the right thing now by donating towards half of the demolition, and the property will be,
And that's the new
Cleaned up
owner,
and
not the
cleared
one
up.
that did the homemade wiring.
Right, that's the new one.
oh, I see.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
One house at a time, as we've talked about, and this is another cleanup, and I'm excited about that. Beth West, transport holiday schedule.
Try not to spread my germs. Every year, we come before the board to get permission to operate on some of the holidays that you've passed for the city offices to be closed before the holidays this year that we would like to stay open. I actually put it before my part-timers, since they're the ones that actually operate on those days, to see which days they are willing to work. This is 2 days shorter than what we've done in the past due to manpower. We think it's only fair because otherwise we're having to scramble and try and get shifts filled, which is hurting our customer service. The 2 days that we cut off are actually our slowest out of all of them. This year, we actually averaged over 100 rides during these holidays, so the ones that are listed are the ones that we would like to operate next year.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, and appreciate every year you providing rides to poll locations for election. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Advertising policy.
We've been talking now for over a year about advertising on the buses. This will be outside advertising on the actual bus. The bus will be wrapped. Per NERC guidelines, we have to have some type of guidelines in place. So before you is, I have been working with Valparaiso. They are actually using the same company that we would like to use. This is their policy that they put before their Board of Works. I did have Nick Otis look it over. He filled in some blanks that I needed filled in. But he was fine with it, so I just need permission to have the board sign off on this so we can continue to move forward.
I'll make a motion to approve the advertising policy. for wrapping the buses.
We have a motion and a second, and again, when we took over, everyone was aware in our budget, Board of Works, that, you know, we inherited a $150,000 deficit. And again, Beth has done a really nice job of trying to find new ways to do things, to provide more ridership, expanding hours, expanding territory. And again, this is something else that will help provide long-term solutions to keeping transport going for those vulnerable and those seniors in need.
And just to confirm, it looks like there's, you kind of have the ability to kind of look at messaging content to make that, you know, kind of decision on what's appropriate
Right.
for those, okay.
Yeah, yeah, nothing will be put on the buses until it's been approved, and it's appropriate. V-Line, the V-Line bus, if you go to Valpo, the V-Line buses that have advertising on it, it's gonna be along the same concept. They've not had any problems with the company, and they've been profiting close to $25,000 a year. And with this company, it's a third-party company that Valpo uses along with Portage. You don't have to do any, they do all the work.
Oh, that's nice.
They do all the soliciting. They just come to me to make sure that what they've solicited is appropriate to be put on our buses. And then they come and they wrap the buses. We don't have to do any of that. They were actually out last week to measure all of our buses to make sure they had the appropriate sizes. We do have to have some of our graphics moved around to make room for advertising, but they do everything.
Have they looked to see how many advertisements you can put on a bus of ours?
That's why they were here last week to measure. I haven't heard back from them. I'm sure with the holidays, it's kind of pushed them back a little bit. But I expect to hear from them in the next couple of weeks as to what we're gonna do and move forward.
And who pays to wrap the bus, though?
It's part of the cost of the advertising. So if they charge, say roughly.
So they're taking a cut before they give us our cut?
Right,
Is
yeah.
that
Say
true?
it's $10,000 for 6 months. They keep 5, we get 5.
So, just wondering ballpark what you think this might be in terms of revenue for,
Right now, we're going along the same lines as Valparaiso. Because our ride standard, with their V-Lines, they have V-Line and dash buses, which their dash buses intersect with Hammond and they go farther than we do. But I'm hoping 25,000 is our goal, if not more.
Further discussion?
Did we sign an agreement with the advertising company already?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, so that will come
That will come. Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
Once we have
Before
this
we-
resolution.
Once that resolution's done, and then I also have to run the contract past NERC because we have to deal with NERC.
The bureaucracy of the federal government.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Nick Minnick, accept bids for propane.
We opened bids for propane on December 2nd. We received 2 bids, one from Feral Gas, one from Co-Alliance. This is also a Federal Transit grant. We're a sub-recipient through NERC, so everything has to go through NERC, and there's a lot more in the bid package than our typical bid packages. There were minor deficiencies that we'd like to go back to both contractors and ask them to correct those deficiencies, keep it fair, and then come back with a recommendation at the next meeting. So all I'm asking for today is for you to accept these bids and allow us to request the deficiencies be corrected on both bids. We've been working with NERC and they think that this is a fair and the right way to move forward.
Do I have a motion to approve?
so moved with acceptance with alongside correcting the deficiencies in the bids.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Did we open these bids before already
Yeah.
at one of these meetings?
No, we had a public bid opening on Friday.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Schneider Electric.
If I may, I actually included the wrong invoice in the email. They all look the same, how we look at the numbers.
Thanks.
So this is pay application number 1 for the Civic HVAC project. Essentially, in our agreement with Schneider, there's a 20% project mobilization fee, and what that does is it covers the equipment that they've already ordered and are purchasing. The current payment is $902,510.82. Again, that's the 20% mobilization fee minus retainage, and that's per our contract agreement.
And this was work that included the roof?
No, this is separate from the roof.
Okay.
This is the actual mobilization for the HVAC and seating. We've had our pre-construction meeting, everything's moving forward. Like I said, they've already had to order a lot of the equipment in order to get it in for installation in the next summer. So they've incurred costs, and that's why in their contract they have the upfront 20% mobilization.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
When you say equipment, you mean equipment that we're literally the seating and equipment that we're keeping?
Yeah.
So
it's
our asset?
Yes, so it's
Not
new-
equipment that they need to purchase in order to complete the job or do the job,
No,
but
no.
for, okay. Because it's such a big amount of the total.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they have to order materials and new, all of the HVAC equipment itself ahead of time, so.
Sure.
And if you need an updated tour at the Civic to understand with all the old, large equipment that's in there now, it's a process, but we're excited. First time ever we'll have air conditioning for the summer after next year, so.
Amazing.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Approval of local tracks plan.
Our consultant, INDOT's consultant that we've been working with, USI Consultants, is ready to submit the final tracings plans. Doesn't mean we're, 100% to the project being awarded or anything like that, but the final tracings plans are ready. It does require Board of Works signature on the cover page, pretty typical. I have the whole set here. It's what we've been discussing for years now. And again, available for your review if you'd like, but it's.
For
a
the
separate
overpass.
process. For the overpass, correct.
Please.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. So the overpass is coming. We'll have an opportunity by the completed project, maybe 2024?
Probably completed potentially. Most likely 2025, everything will be done, but could be 2024. It'll be broken into phases because of the size of the project,
Beginning next year.
beginning next year.
So, especially our police and fire won't have to wait at the train tracks to get across.
So once construction starts, how long will that intersection be, effectively out of commission for?
So there'll be a detour. So they'll detour. So part of the plan includes closing Pulaski Street right next to it. 'Cause you'll have, so they'll be used, adjacent streets for detour and everything. So it's hard to say. A lot of the improvements adjacent to the actual bridge structure will have to be done first in order to make sure that detour is viable, and then the bridge structure will start going up. So we don't have an exact sequence and schedule of construction yet. A lot of that ends up being kind of worked out towards the end with the contractor. But there'll be a detour, it won't be a full closure, so.
And that's why we didn't pave the north side of Tipton from Lincoln Way, and then also was that Grove
Yeah.
on the east side, which is bad, we get it, but there's no use to pave it to tear it up
Tear it
again.
up.
there's a fair amount of utilities to move with this project before they get going. There's a large raw water main, and there's a couple sewers that need to be moved out from underneath the bridge, so that work will go on.
My ask would be just to pay close attention to that, to the sequencing of all that, because right in that neighborhood, you get cut off, got basically 3 intersections, right?
Yeah.
So if 2 of them are out of commission for a year, that's a significant burden. Not that, knowing full well, right, it's gonna be better down the road, but
Yeah.
just to pay attention to that.
So, and that's why the improvements from the intersection of Furnace and Park are kind of key, because those improvements will span along Clear Lake Boulevard, where the section between Furnace and really Linwood is two-way too, but that section will be reconstructed and widened to be two-way again.
Okay.
Everything will be constructed on the outside, whereas when that was made one-way, we essentially took the cross-section of the road and had it, one lane become a trail and one lane become a travel lane.
So much
Now,
room, right, yeah.
yeah, so that will accommodate, you'll be able to go down Furnace and up across on Detroit, or you'll be able to go Pulaski, cross on Furnace and Pulaski. So
Okay.
there'll be a 2 or 3 block detour is what'll end up happening.
And then the plan is still for a roundabout at Park and McClung.
Correct, yeah. We have been working with NERC. We needed to submit on their last NOFA in order to get a separate DES number to do that portion of the project. But we're working towards that. We got a lot of design already done, so we're well on the way.
The beginning of roundabout Laporte.
I drove through that intersection last night. My 12-year-old daughter said, "Boy, we really need to do something about this intersection."
The one at McClung and Park.
Couldn't be more, yeah.
You can come with Nick Minnick to work for a day.
Be
Start
happy to
running for
drop her off.
Tell her, yes, we will.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I
do.
believe you have
And a
motion
second?
Yes.
Further discussion?
I just have one question. So we're submitting the plan for the tracks, and then you said that the sequential planning or the timeline for the projects that happen before, like the projects
They're
before the
included in this.
projects?
Yeah, they're included in
They are
this.
included in this, but the timeline of that will be decided closer to the date because,
So generally what happens is final tracings are submitted, and then the area construction engineer and the consultants work together to finalize the actual kind of sequence and the how that all is going to come together. So we don't have that, and it also depends on the bid, when the letting actually happens. There's a lot of variables still in play.
okay. So this is part of the normal timeline?
This is
Not
part of the
have a
normal
timeline.
timeline. It's actually extended quite a bit because of the size of the project.
Okay.
You'll finish this and run right into Indiana Avenue.
Yes.
Oh, boy,
That will be a major project.
will be major.
All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. So let's go to department heads. Anything that you would like to share, please do. Don't feel the need to come up and repeat anything, but just anything that you do have to add. Andrea Smith, HR, we'll start for you back there.
You don't need that because you're getting that.
Good morning, Board. Andrea Smith, HR Director. Just a quick update on flu shots. Considering the RSV and the flu shot outbreak we are having here, we are now going to include dependents. Not only spouses, but dependents that are on our insurance plan. Northwest Health secured flu shots for 6 months to 17 years. It took a few days for them to do it because they are in short supply. I also tried contacting the health department for flu shots, pediatric flu shots. They are only available if you are uninsured or on Medicare. So if you have insurance, the health department will not give a pediatric flu shot. However, Northwest Health did secure 50 to 100 vials for us. So notice is going to go out this morning to all employees. If they have paid for a pediatric flu shot, I'm going to ask them to let me know and we'll reimburse them. Again, because this is so prevalent right now, we want to make sure that the entire household on who wants a flu shot is covered. And then, again, it's, from what I heard last night, the schools were giving a dire report that, it's very serious in the school system right now, so we need to take charge and, one way to help. And then I will be back at the next meeting for updates to the handbook. We got the first half of it back. I am currently reviewing it. There are some great things in there that I didn't even think about, but a third party saw that we were missing. So I will get those to you ahead of time, so you will have time to review them.
Thank you for your proactive approach on all the different items that need to be updated.
Well, again, hearing from folks in the community and how bad this is, I thought the health department would be a way to help us out, but again, it goes back to our friends at Northwest Health who came through for us.
Andrea was procuring flu shots on her vacation.
I know.
I'm just gonna tell everyone, so thank you for that.
No, thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. State of the City is behind us. I just want to say thank you to Bert Cook and everyone at LEAP for all of their efforts to put on another successful event this year. Also want to thank Dunlin Media. Shout out to Johnny and Sarah and Emily for all they did to get it broadcast live so that people who weren't able to attend in person were still able to watch and get an update. Also wanted to note that we are partnering with greatnews.life this coming week to provide free professional headshots for our employees. They'll be here at City Hall on Wednesday the 14th from 11:30 to 1:30. No appointment is necessary. You can just drop in. It's open to all employees and board members, and there's no dress code, but business casual or business professional is encouraged. That's all I got.
Thank you. Anything else, Beth? Mark Schreiber, Parks.
I just want to let the public know that the downtown ice rink is up, and they are making ice today and tomorrow. So we will have our opening day Friday from 4 to 10 skating. We'll also have it Saturday 10 to 10 and Sunday 1 to 8. Skating is $5. Rentals are $3 for anybody who needs skates. And we are still soliciting sponsorships for the rink. And people can contact us at the Park Department, 326-9600. And for those who want to skate, we do strongly encourage that you register in advance. It just speeds up the process. You can get the waiver signed. Plus, you also know that you've got a spot for you and your family if you do it in advance. So that can be done at the Park Department website, laporteparkandrec.com.
And again, Mark, the good news about this, just like other rinks, and I know Craig was involved in the one in Valparaiso, nobody would just build a rink without knowing the type of interest you get from a community. So I think Mr. Schreiber has done a fantastic job to, protect our resources while testing the market to see, does our community want an ice rink or not?
Yeah, we're excited to keep the momentum we created last year. We had almost 1,000 people skate in the period of time we had a rink last year, and we're seeing communities all around us making these investments, Mishawaka, South Bend, Crown Point, Valpo, and it's not so much that we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We just want everybody in LaPorte to have that same recreational opportunity in the wintertime to be able to do those type of things. So we're excited to keep that momentum going, and hopefully the interest is there, and long-term, as the mayor mentioned, that we have a permanent rink or a ribbon or some type of skating option someday.
Perfect, thank you. Andy Snyder, anything else?
And today, Your Honor.
Paul Breton?
Nope.
Jeff Batchelor?
Yeah, we finished the first round of leaves, so we started the second round yesterday. They're over on the east side, and then the vacuum just finished Monroe and is going down Indiana right now.
It's good because I've still got some.
Nick Minnick, Engineering?
Just wanted to report we now have a kiosk in the engineering department for building permits. We've been transitioning to OpenGov and trying to make sure that the process for acquiring permits and basically interfacing with any type of building project with the city is a little bit easier. And one step in a little less paper and more efficiency is actually being able to apply for your building permit online in the office and not have to fill out paper forms if at all possible. Apply and pay for, so.
Jerry Jackson, sewer?
We got our land application, we do that of our solids, we do that in the fall, in the spring and the fall, got that done, that went well. We're planning to clean our secondary digester in the spring. The lid is, that floats inside the secondary digester showing some age, and it needs to be inspected, and a repair is probably done. We should get the information on the paving grant today, which will enable us to then go forward and bid the letters in Number Street in early January.
Yes.
So that's all in the works.
Craig Phillips, planning?
Yes, a number of things going on. So, as you recall, at our last Board of Works meeting, we approved the contract for the preliminary engineering and coordination efforts for the Chassis 3 Trail. We're excited to have received a significant amount of initial grant money towards that project, and we're going to be we kicked that off internally, but we're going to be right after the first of the year convening city of Michigan City, City of LaPorte, and county officials to actually put that project together and identify some of the items that we need to finalize in order to get that design complete. Working on a couple of significant annexations that are coming before the city council at the next council meeting, 100% voluntary annexations that are important to the city. The work on the Trails, Greenways, and Pathways Master Plan continues. We had a good public hearing and received some valuable input with regard to the plan moving forward. We're also working on finalizing the parking study. We have a couple of very last minute items to meet on internally to finalize the study. And then the goal is to have a presentation to the public, to the various boards and commissions that are involved in the management and enforcement of parking, as well as the public in early January. And then work has begun on the second phase of the Monroe and Lincoln Way streetscape efforts, which is in the form of a downtown pattern book, which will take a look at each of the blocks in the downtown area and within the business improvement district in terms of what type of street furniture, paving, lighting, benches, that sort of thing would be on each block, so that as we go forward and need to make replacements or improvements, we have a blueprint basically for what that will look like going forward in the future, instead of trying to make decisions on the fly of how to handle those issues as they come up.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 20th. Make sure you get out and skate beginning this weekend and downtown, then go grab a bite to eat. With that, any further comment? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Everybody have a fantastic day.